y'all? Welcome to another video. My name is Gigi. If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. In today's video, we will be talking about the new grad RN application process, nursing interview tips, and frequently asked questions. So if you guys see me looking down, it's because I got my iPad. I'm trying to stay on track. I'm trying to make sure I answer all you guys' questions. You feel me? So you guys can get that job, secure that bag, okay? So the first thing I want to go into is just giving you guys a little background and what I think you guys should do before you even start looking into new grad programs. A couple things that I did before I started. Number one, I made sure I had my resume, my cover letter, and I made sure I had 2 letters of recommendations. And secondly, I made sure maybe I sent my resume and cover letter to maybe 3 people to make sure they can just revise it, make sure I'm hitting every point that's needed so I can qualify for these positions. And also make sure you start early looking at these programs because they open at different times. Make sure you know the dates, make sure you know the interview dates and just everything. Make sure you just ahead. And another thing is don't rush through your application because any mistake can just automatically disqualify you. And another thing I would say is follow RN New Grads. I will put her Instagram in this video, somewhere in this video, because she be posting all the new grad positions. She be posting like different little quizzes for us to engage in her story and on her page, but she makes sure she posts every new grad application that's open. So I be having my notifications turned on so I can know what hospital is hiring so I get that bag. You feel me? So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to go into is the requirements for the new grad program. So the first requirement is make sure you have a current active RN license. Some programs will let you apply without having your RN license, but you have to put when you're going to take your NCLEX. 2, they want to make sure you have less than 9 months paid RN experience. You have to have a 3.0 GPA. You have to have a BSN degree, an accredited program. And this is what I said in my last video that's very important, that if you're looking into starting nursing school, try to go to a school that you can receive your BSN degree, because when you look into jobs, it can be challenging because a lot of these jobs want you to have your BSN and not your ADN. So just, food for thought. Secondly, they want you to have your BLS. They want you to have the resume and cover letter. So make sure you have a nursing resume. The nursing resume is different from our, regular resumes that we will be applying for Macy's or, Hooters, whatever. Like, it's different. You have to have your clinical hours. You have to have the different rotations, your experience. So if you guys want me to link an example or I can do a template, just let me know in the comments. And they want you to have unofficial transcripts. Some programs will also ask for a personal statement. So just a heads up, you might have to, get out your writing skills, you feel me? So make sure that's on your mind. You need to have 2 letters of recommendations and you need to have an RN license. But like I said it before, some programs will let you apply even though you don't have your RN license. And also back to the 2 letters of recommendations, if you work in a hospital, maybe try to get a letter of recommendations from one of the nurses you work with or your nurse manager. Also, they like to see recommendation from clinical instructors. They want to know how you are in a clinical setting. Okay, let's get into new grad interview tips. So the first tip I would tell you guys is be confident. Make sure you own that interview. Make sure you not too cocky, but just like let them know that you know what you're doing and you know what you bring to the table. They know you don't have like a lot of experience, of course, because we're a new grad, we just graduated. So they're not going to expect too much in that aspect. Let your personality shine, okay? Don't be like all monotone. Just make sure you just shining, own up to it, because you don't have any experience, so you need to hit all those other areas so they can be like, okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and hire her. 2, dress well, okay? Wear something that stand out. Make sure your makeup is at like a bare minimum, not too crazy, but just dress where you looking like, you know, not just plain. Because when I was, you know, going to interviews, I always just do black and white, but spice it up a little bit. Do like a pale pink top, you know, especially if you're over Zoom, spice it up with your top. But if you're going in, do like a nice pants, a cute little top, pale pink, maybe like a little design, you know. Spice it up, baby. 3, do your research on your institution or hospital that you're applying for. Make sure you know their mission statement and their core values, okay? Because you don't want to go in there and say like, oh, I applied here because, you know, your mission values align with mine. What if they hit you like, okay, what is our mission values, and you don't know? So you got to make sure you know, so they can think like, oh, she took her time, she researched it. Because you don't want to go in there saying certain stuff and you don't know their values. But also importantly, you want to look at their mission statement and their values to make sure that this hospital is somewhere you see yourself working at. Because what if, you know, their values don't match up with yours, and you can be like, yeah, maybe this is not where I want to be. Okay, so just take the time out and look at that. All their values is on their website. 4, if you having a Zoom interview, do not use a virtual background. Make sure your background is clean and well lit. I had just a nice pale pink shirt, and I made sure my background was just white, like just a white wall, and then I made sure it was well lit. I even got out my ring light to just make sure they're able to see me. Okay, 5, if the vibes seem off in the interview, because you know sometimes you're in an interview and then you're feeling like you're not doing a good job, you feel like the interviewer just asking you random questions that don't even make sense, just keep on going, be confident, do not be rude, and then at the end of the day, don't doubt yourself too much, because you never know. Just because you feel like you're bombing it in your head, but the interviewer probably like, ooh, she's good, we're gonna send her to the next level. So, you know, just stay confident and keep going. Try not to overthink. You guys got this, okay? 6, always be prepared to ask them questions no matter what. Come with questions and stay away from pay. The career services at my school always said never ask for pay. So when I'm doing my interviews, I never ask. These are a couple questions I do ask and I want to share with you. So I always say, what's your biggest challenge on your unit? And I say, is there anything that I can do more to prepare for this unit? Maybe can you recommend a resource or a book I could read so I can prepare myself for what I'm about to get myself into, okay? So, and then the last thing I would ask is, what is a typical day like for a nurse on this unit? Because a lot of us did not get to go to clinicals. So some of us really don't know what a typical day is like on different units, especially, you know, a med surg unit might be different from a cardio step down unit. So it's very important to maybe just ask like, what is a typical day like for a nurse on this unit? Is she busy? Do it start off busy, end up slow? Like, you know, just different things like that. And I'm telling you, interviewers love when you ask questions, because some of them are so used to people not asking questions. So when you hit them with a question, they be like, okay, we like this. Because every time I ask the interviewer questions, like their facial expression, they look like, oh, that was a good question. Like they love when people ask them questions. So lastly, let's get into frequently asked questions. Okay, so the top questions I was asked during my interview was, tell me about yourself. I really hate this question because it's very vague, and I hate it because I never know where to start. So I normally like to just sum up like, I just graduated nursing school. I'm trying to get back into like a routine and things I like doing outside of, you know, work. I like working out. I like, you know, going out to eat, like little stuff like that. They just want to know like, who are you? Like they want to make sure like is this person good for our unit? So another question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is not a question where you sit there and be like, oh yeah, in 5 years I see myself owning my own business. And no, this is a question where you let them know like, in 5 years I see myself moving up within this medical center, taking on more leadership roles. Like that's a good question, because that let them know like, oh, she's consistent, she's dependable, she want to stay here, she is a good investment. Because as new grads, we are an investment. They're investing into us. They spend a lot of money trying to train us, so they want to make sure you're worth it. Okay, so make sure you ace that question. And another question I like to ask is strength and weaknesses. I always give them the strength, but I try to turn my weakness into a strength. So an example is, oh, what is your weakness? Well, I tend to put my patients first before myself. That is a good question, because as a nurse, they will want someone who put their patient first. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, I'd rather go see my patient one before I go eat or before I go to the bathroom. So, good. So another one is, what make you passionate about this unit? That's another question they always ask. You know, everybody have their passion. Some people want to do OB, NICU, ICU, cardio, med-surg. So it's good to just let them know, why are you passionate about this unit? Maybe it's something happening in clinicals where you're like, oh, I love this unit. Share that experience with them. And they always love to ask, why nursing? And why this hospital? So make sure why nursing? Because like nursing is great, blah, blah, blah. You know, just let them know why you picked this profession. And be sincere, okay? Because some people get into this profession just because they think, you know, it's all about the money. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not all about the money. You really got to care for these patients. And then in my interview, lastly, they asked a few clinical questions. So one of the clinical questions they asked me was, what would you do if the patient IV is infiltrate? I will take it out, okay? And then they asked, what do you monitor when the patient is on a diuretic? Electrolytes, I's and O's, potassium. What are things you can do to reduce falls? Put the bed alarm on. Make sure everything that patient need is right by them. Make sure you ask them, do they have to go to the bathroom? You know what? You should be like, okay, you know what? Let's try. Because sometimes people don't really need to use the bathroom when you ask. But when you say, let's get up and try, they have to end up using the bathroom. So it's better to just be like, you know what? Let's get up and try. That's a good answer. That's all of the frequent asked questions that you would get in a new grad RN interview. So the questions are not too hard, because they know that we're new. They know that we're just starting. We don't have hella experience. The most experience, you know, we might have is working as an NCT, patient transporter, or a CNA, okay? So they know, like, we're not coming in here like, yeah, I put in 30 IVs. They know all that. Before I end this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that every hospital is different. Most new grad programs open 2 to 3 times a year. Some of them spring, summer, and fall. So just keep that in mind. Also, everyone graduate at different times of the year, especially if you're in an accelerated program. Sometimes you'll graduate in October, sometimes you graduate in January. So it's really good to just know what hospitals is opening their applications around this time and so forth. So make sure you have those notifications on. Make sure you go into these hospital websites, subscribing so you can have their email notifications. Just make sure you have everything in order, aside from making sure you have your NCLEX date, hoping it aligned to the application, when the application to whatever hospital you want to apply for opens. So I hope this video helped you guys. Good luck with everything. If you need more info on anything, leave comments, and you know I always respond to the comments. So just leave a comment if you want a template for your nursing resume. Let me know, because my career service rep told me that my resume was great. So if you need any help, just let me know. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications is on, because we dropping videos every Sunday. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Georgiana Monique, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.